So,
what else is new?
Love and Other Drugs. Which is directed by Ed Zwick, and it's based on this book, The Hard Sell, The Evolution of a Viagra Salesman, Jake Gyllenhaal and Anne Hathaway. And there's been a lot of interest in it recently because both Jake Gyllenhaal and Anne Hathaway, I think, have both been nominated for Golden Globes, although, frankly, the Golden Globe nominations count for nothing at all. They are just disgracefully all over the place. Anyway, the story is Jake Gyllenhaal is somebody who's involved in selling drugs. He's this really sort of sleazy, slimy kind of character, actually not unlike Aaron Eckhart in Thank You for Smoking. And his job is to go to doctor's surgeries and convince them to buy his drug rather than somebody else's drug. And he's somebody who's... there's also a connection with the George Clooney character in Up in the Air. He's somebody who goes places, behaves in a way that's amoral, but does it, because it brings them rewards. At some point early on in the movie, he finds himself in a doctor's surgery with Anne Hathaway, with whom he is allowed to interact in a manner which is completely unethical. She's really furious about it. They have an argument. Next thing you know, they're in bed. Here's a clip.
And now you're thinking, did I stay 5 minutes or 10? And where did I throw my pager?
I'm not thinking that. It's under the table. You're probably thinking, what's this guy's name again?
Bye, Johnny. I think it's time for you to go.
Oh, I don't need to go.
I need you to go.
Oh, okay. Oh.
It's nice meeting you.
It's nice meeting you too. Maybe we'll see each other around.
So in the early stages of it, they have this relationship which is entirely based on their physical interaction. There's been a lot of interest in the fact that Ed Zwick has said that he encouraged them to watch a bunch of movies ranging from Pillow Talk to 9 Songs and Last Tango in Paris when they were trying to do how intimate should the intimate scenes be. And obviously from the tabloids and the magazines' point of view, a lot of people have focused in on the fact that there is an awful lot of this couple physically interacting in a very intimate way that seems to be very, very genuine. And actually those scenes are done very well. Ed Zwick is somebody who does really understand how to direct actors. What then happens is that you discover that the Anne Hathaway character is really quite profoundly sick. She has early onset Parkinson's, and she doesn't want to be in a relationship with Jake Gyllenhaal. He is somebody who up until that point has got no sort of emotional anchor, no emotional attachments, but he gradually falls in love with her, and then the story changes about how much he is willing to give up in order to be with her. And there's a number of strands. The two sort of central strands are, on the one hand, his initial belief that he can do something, that he can somehow cure her, he can make her better. On the other hand, there is the if he can't, which clearly he can't. Is he ready to embark on this relationship, which she tells him he's not ready to embark on? And there's one very, very strong scene in the middle of it in which she's in a group of other people dealing with similar issues, and he is talking to the partner of somebody who basically sort of lays out for him what he has ahead of him if he sticks with this relationship. And the strange thing about the film is it's pulling in 3 different ways, because on the one hand, there's a whole kind of weird subplot about his brother who's sort of dysfunctional, but on the other hand, very clever and has made a bunch of money, but he's living in his castle. He's there and he can't get rid of him. On the other hand, there's the Aaron Eckhart-like story about this guy who's essentially seedy and looking after himself, which I really, really enjoyed. And then the third part of it, which is actually the center of the film, is this story about how much you can or can't control the world around you and how much you're willing to give up for somebody with whom you're in love, and more importantly, how much they are willing to allow you to give up in order to be with them. And for everything that was sort of wrong-footed in the film, the fact that it did feel like there were 3 or 4 things going on at a time when actually it should have been concentrating on only one of them, I think both performances are very strong. I think Ed Zwick is one of those directors who genuinely, again, I mean, it's something like Peter Weir. He's a good craftsman. He does understand the craft of making scenes work, of organizing, of orchestrating scenes. I think the story is confused, and I think it ties itself up in knots, and I think it pulls in 3 different directions in a way which isn't entirely constructive. But there are individual scenes and individual sequences in it which have stayed with me for a good few weeks since I first saw it. And one really, really sort of devastating moment which works really well. Yes, Simon.
Thanks very much.